Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome to our 10 at 10 premiere for November 29th of 2022.
Hey, I'm Tim. We got an awesome lineup for you. Get excited. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and sign up for our weekly email. Today we're talking about 10 of the 20 trees getting listed today.
Hey, 2022 is almost over, but we're bringing it. We're going to close out the year hard. We got some really cool stuff for you guys. You know, December's right around the corner, so be thinking of some of your favorite gardeners. We've got MrMaple gift cards for your favorite gardeners for Christmas. Those gift cards show up right away via email. So if you're looking to gift someone a plant, that's a great way to do it. And as always, you can shop for a plant on MrMaple.com. When you're watching this, we still have plenty of time to get your order out before Christmas.
So we'll start up today with Acer palmatum, amagi shiguri.
Guys, some absolutely amazing sizes. We often say in our videos, if you're watching this now, our sizes are indicative of now. I doubt we'll be offering too many amagi shiguri much bigger than this because, quite frankly, if they were any bigger than this, I'd pot them up to 3s. A great deal on Acer palmatum amagi shiguri. One of my favorite metallic-y reticulated Japanese maples.
This one can really give some metallic purple, some nice lavender shades in the spring, to some really pink purples. I mean, the reticulation on this is outstanding, and it's one of the more uniquely purple-colored Japanese maples that's out there.
Yeah, this is an introduction from Japan. Typically 6 foot, even in that 10-year period, so it's a little bit smaller in most of the Ghost series. Really nice plant though. This one almost has some just indigo-y, even violet colors in it. It often has a glossy sheen to it. It's one of the gold standards for amazing reticulated purples and some awesome sizes on Acer palmatum amagi shiguri.
Yeah, this is one you want to give some protection from the hot afternoon sun in hotter climates. But it's an amazing, smaller growing reticulated type. Most of the reticulated types often make a larger tree. Amagi shiguri is actually one of the slower growing forms.
Right.
That's why it's so amazing to see some that are so large.
Still makes a tree shape, but in a smaller vase-like habit.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Brian's favorite tree coming back to the mix, and one of my favorites, and one of many of the maple collectors all around the world's favorites, Acer shirasawanum moonrise. Now, this is an introduction by our friend Carl Munn. You've heard us talk about moonrise a lot. Definitely check out our full video on that if you want to see a giant specimen in the Maplewood Gardens there.
Yeah, I love moonrise for what it does. I mean, it just puts on pink red over lime green, over yellow, and it just keeps pushing off that orange red to pink red new growth over across that. It's one of the most colorful Acer shirasawanums that's out there.
Yeah, this one's so popular. It's really starting to get popular in Europe and all around the world. Moonrise is a great introduction. It's one of my favorite full moon maples because it's so colorful. You know, fall colors are typically more of a bold orange to red, but that spring color is really unrivaled. You get a lot of yellow older growth with a lot of apricot over top of that, and it's super durable too. This has been one of our better growing Acer shirasawanums here in the South and for the deeper South. It's a very durable plant. I still do recommend a little late day shade in zone 8, but it's one of the very toughest shirasawanums you can be growing.
And one of the more vigorous growing. I mean, such a great plant for the landscape and garden, great for containers. We got that huge one out at Mom and Dad's garden, and it's one of my favorites out there, and just keeps putting on colors all throughout the seasons.
Awesome plant to be growing. Acer shirasawanum moonrise.
So we're bringing another japonicum to you this November.
Right.
Acer japonicum rising sun.
We went from moonrise to rising sun, so this is another awesome large leaf one. Hey guys, check out our full video on rising sun. We get out in front of a really big specimen in Dr. Kritikos' garden. This is a giant leaf japonicum, so for you big leaf japonicum fans, we've got one here for you today. Rising sun tends to always sell out for us. It's always a popular one, and for many reasons. Not only that large foliage, but just great colors.
Yeah, I mean, check out our full video. We've got a full video on this in Dr. Kritikos' garden. I mean, that plant is outstanding, and you can see what a full specimen looks like in fall color. And this one here is just one of the largest leaf Acer japonicum selections. I mean, it's one that we love. Those leaves can just get almost dinner plate sizes. And love what this one does out in the landscape and garden. Everything's bigger on the japonicums. You get the large leaves, but you also get larger blooms on these things. In the early spring, right as it's leafing out, you get some really nice red tassel flowers on the japonicums. And the rising sun is definitely one of the best of the large leaf japonicums.
Great sizes on these too. We're shipping these out right now so you can get them before Christmas if you're looking to give somebody a rising sun. Awesome larger leaf japonicum though for sure.
Next up, we've got Acer palmatum Japanese Princess.
Always popular, guys, in great sizes. Maybe the most popular variant of Makawa Yatsubusa is Japanese Princess. I think we're going to give it a run for its money next year when we release a few of our own introductions. But Japanese Princess is a really nice, small, compact form, typically no more than 3 to 4 feet, even in 10 to 15 years. It's a very nice, dense tree, and it's popular for that pink color. I mean, this one leaves out a very bright neon pink, especially if you're giving it some early morning sun. If you're giving it heavy shade, you can get some nice shades of like bright pink to almost like a blonde color underneath that when it's first leafing out. One of the more popular Makawa variants, and for good reason. It's a great plant.
And one of the things I love about Japanese Princess too is the leaf is different. The leaf twists and curls a little bit. Still has a very traditional Makawa-like leaf, but the leaf curls and is a little more bubbly to it, which gives this plant a unique texture out in the landscape and garden with that tight layering habit that is so popular with Makawa Yatsubusa.
We love whenever possible to really mix up our 10 at 10s and bring you a Makawa type, a larger upright, you know, just different things. And Japanese Princess is one that is hard for us to keep in stock, even though it's been around a little bit now. It is one of our most popular forms of Makawa Yatsubusa, and I love this plant. It's a great container plant. You can put this in a big patio planter. You can do it as a bonsai, or you can put it as a perfect, you know, deciduous splash there in a conifer garden, or just a focal point in the landscape. I tend to put a lot of these out because they're so colorful, and they make great pairings with literally everything.
And if you haven't checked out our Makawa Family Collection Part 1 video, we talk about Japanese Princess in there and how it's really the pink version of the Japanese maples. And we talk about some other variants in there as well. You'll definitely, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we've got amazing content coming out every single day. You need to be subscribed because it's not just the 10 at 10s we do here. We do so many other cool plants videos.
We hit like 2,000 on every one of our 10 at 10 videos pretty quick. So, hey, some of you international audience, come back and check out some of our other weekly premieres. We put out a video every single day at 9 a.m., except for on Sundays. At Sundays, we air that podcast video at 8 p.m. Eastern. So definitely be a part of that live chat. Man, you guys in the live chat are my favorite. You guys make me smile every time. And you're going to like this one in the live chat. We're bringing back Acer pictum usagumo.
Yeah, the batwing maple. I mean, this is one of our favorite. We love the batwing maples. Every time we get a chance to offer them, we try to make them available on MrMaple because they're so unique, so different. They have that larger, more batwing-like maple leaf to it. It just really stands out with that white, that sort of pinkish sort of salmon color in the spring when it first comes out, and then go into that white color. I mean, usagumo was the very first batwing maple we had here at MrMaple, and it's the one that was still one of our favorites.
Probably still our most popular. We're doing a lot of funky new ones from Japan, and this one's an older one from Japan, not that old in the trade for here in America, but some great specimens around to this now. One of my favorite though, Acer pictum usagumo. This one has a very consistent variegation to it, that swirling variegation over that larger style leaf. I love that usagumo has one of the bigger, rounder of the batwing style leaves. It makes the perfect palette for that swirling style variegation. Give this one a little late day shade when it's getting established, but those pictums are tough as nails. This one's actually grafted to an Acer truncatum, so that root system's extremely durable as well. It makes a great variegated maple for people in the South, but really anywhere in the United States that can grow Acer pictum zones 5 through 9. This is a great plant to be growing.
Yeah, we've got that larger one now at Mom and Dad's, and it's a plant that it's very difficult to produce. The pictums are not easy to produce and graft, and that's one of the reasons why they're so rare in the nursery trade. And they're highly sought after by collectors, especially usagumo. And they're not going to last long. As I always remember, when you're checking out on MrMaple.com, check out quickly because it doesn't hold it for you just because you have it in your cart or you're in the checkout process. Once you've completed the checkout process, that's when they've got an order number and they're saved for you. So next up, we've got Acer palmatum hana tsukasa. This is an amazing selection by Yataka Tanaka, who did tsukasa maple in Japan. At tsukasa maple in Japan, did tsukasa silhouette. This plant here is basically like almost like a butterfly type, but in the springtime when this thing leaves out, it's almost completely pink.
Yeah, I mean, this one's one of my favorites for that color. I would almost describe it as a more durable tailor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not tailor. We don't offer tailor too much here because it is a more finicky plant. This one I haven't had any issues with. It's been extremely durable for us, but bringing some of those same color palettes that you like. A little bit of foliage hanging on right now. You still get some of that green on neon pink. So just that new growth still hitting a little bit there, but an awesome tree to be growing. A great one for a container garden or small fairy garden. It's a very whimsical small tree with a lot of color, so it really brings a lot of intensity for a small area. And I love everything. I celebrate the entire tsukasa maple collection. I'm a big fan of his entire collection.
Hana Matoi, tsukasa,
right. There's not a bad one.
Beni tsukasa. I mean, you go down the list.
Genpai.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of hitters. This one, you know, of course, tsukasa for the name there, that's actually the father's name. And then hana meaning flower. So flower of tsukasa. Really great plant to be growing though. So this one's not going to be popular at all either. I mean, oh my gosh. We got some heavy hitters here today, guys. Acer palmatum seho. Now, we were one of the first people to start growing this in the United States. It is one of my favorite recommendations for bonsai. It's one of the smallest leaf maples. Think of it with a similar style variegation, not really variegation, but that purple border to the green eye like Kiyohime and Murasaki Kiyohime have, but in a small ball shape with one of the smallest foliages possible.
It's actually one of the very first YouTube videos we ever did was a
right.
cultivar highlight on Acer palmatum
Go
seho.
check out a 10-year ago Tim.
Talking about seho and how it's great for bonsai because of that small leaf. The new growth fleshes on this are just so tiny. And that's one of the things about this plant that makes it so unique. That makes it stand out with a unique texture in the landscape or in the container. And it's a vigorous dwarf. I mean, it's unusual to say that. It sounds like an oxymoron, but this plant jumps out at an early age and tightens up and gets denser and denser and thicker with age.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to see why this one's so popular. Being that it's a more globular shape, it puts on a lot of density from within, and that's one of the reasons I recommend it a lot for bonsai. Awesome plant, really small foliage, really showy in the landscape. You can put this one out in the garden or have it in a big patio planter. And like I said, it's always popular for bonsai, but it's a nice, dense, compact form. One of the smallest natural leaves you'll ever see on a Japanese maple. I mean,
yeah,
it's a great compact form there, and we're happy to be bringing back Acer palmatum seho.
So next up, we've got Acer palmatum yellow threads. And yellow threads is an amazing plant that's really going to give you a lot of yellow color on a linear-lobum style Japanese maple. It's really unusual to get some color out of some of those linear-lobum styles. This one definitely does that pretty well. And I love what yellow threads brings to the table.
Check out our video on Acer palmatum yellow threads. We show a full specimen, you know, rarely seen at that size. I love getting specimens on camera for you guys whenever possible. We're a huge fan of this one. We got it early on from our friend and mentor, Talon Buckholtz. So we got to help kind of evaluate this one a little bit before it was out there much. It's very special because it's a linear lobulum Japanese maple with a unique spring color. So it's very unique, and then it has that high intensity yellow. And this one can almost be highlightery. It really makes a focal point there in the garden. It makes an awesome pairing with any red lace leaf, any Japanese maple where you have a texture difference. I love the linear lobulums because for me, they bring that perfect Asian feel to the garden. They bring that whimsical, almost bamboo-like appeal to the garden. And they give you all that in a Japanese maple. So you get more intense, more interesting foliage than you would in a bamboo garden. But you still get that airy, whimsical approach that I think makes Asian gardening so popular.
Yeah, I love yellow threads. I mean, midsummer it does go to a yellow-green, but it's still more yellow than any other linear lobum during that time frame. And then during the fall, you can get some yellows infused with oranges and reds. I mean, this plant is electric all throughout the seasons, just constantly giving you color in the garden and giving good contrast out there between everything else.
Mm-hmm. Really nice plant to be growing. Glad to have that one back in stock. I'll hand you one of these over so I'll knock the whole table all over. Next we have Acer palmatum ryusen shidari.
Yeah, ryusen shidari, if you don't know the story behind this plant, it's got one of those fun stories. And every plant has a story, and knowing the story behind them is amazing. This plant originally was at a temple in Japan, and the tsunami came and wiped it out. And then, luckily one of our friends, Yutaka Tanaka, had grafted it, and he went back and was able to give one back to the temple. And the unique thing about this plant is it's a heavily cascading type with a larger leaf, almost like a sakazuki.
Yeah, this is going to have more of the Emoenum style foliage. It's a weeping form that's probably not in the lineage of ryusen, so a unique outside the box form here. I would compare it, like Tim said, more to Hogyoku or Osakazuki in the leaf. Now this one's going to be distinctly neon yellow, so an awesome pairing. If you picked up one of those Osakazukis from us recently, you know, one of my favorite pairings, you can have a large Amoenum style leaf with intense yellow fall color that is weeping, so the foliage is going to be similar, but this pairs so well with Osakazuki, which is going to be neon red in the fall, and really fun plant to be growing. I mean, I think it's a unique one for the story, it's a unique one for the habit. It's very different than any of the other weeping Japanese maples out there, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. A lot of times people don't realize how fun you can contrast having the green that's the same throughout the spring and the summer, and then the yellow contrasting against the red. It just brightens up the garden and gives you a dynamic change. And with the contrasting shape too, where Osakazuki is going to be a larger upright tree and Rikuzen shidari is going to be heavily cascading, it's really going to give something dynamic with texture and with the shape as well.
Yeah, I might be too geeky for you here, where a lot of the ryusen and ryusei styles are more of an Acer palmatum subspecies palmatum. This is probably one of the very first of the weeping Amoenums, so it's kind of its own new thing. It's a very cool plant to be growing. I tend to stake this one up to about 5 to 6 feet and then let it weep down from there. So very similar shape-wise to what you're familiar with ryusei or ryusen. But, you know, it brings a lot of different interest to the table. And it's going to contrast with any of those very well because there's not another weeping form like that that's neon yellow.
And extremely rare, newer from Japan. So it is going to be a plant that not many other people are going to have in their garden as well. And that's always a fun thing to have in your garden.
Yeah, so last but certainly not least here, we've got winter orange.
And these are some gigantic winter oranges.
Yeah, I always let people know these sizes are indicative of what we have in stock now. Again, they don't get much bigger than this at MrMaple because if it was any bigger than this, I'd be putting it in a 3. In fact, I'm gonna have to pull a few of these and put them in 3, so get them while you can. This is an awesome tree to pair with any coral bark. Personally, I love to see it near Sir Damon that picked up pink red. This one is an intensely orange selection of a Sangukaku style.
Yeah, the bark on this is just a bright, bright, bright orange. Now, the foliage is going to be very similar to something like a Sangukaku, where you're going to get green, a really nice green throughout the spring, really nice green throughout the summer, and then really nice yellows, mostly yellows with hints of orange in it in the fall. But the bark on this is so uniquely orange. You know, give this tree some sunlight to really pick up those oranges too. If you grow it in deep shade, it's not going to get as orange as it will in the winter months. But the sunlight really picks up the orange color. But this plant, it makes a great trifecta pairing if you plant it with something like a Sir Damon or a Sangukaku.
And a Bihu.
And a Bihu.
Yeah, oh man, I had...
Maybe an Aoyagi in there.
You can make some amazing color palettes with this. It's one of my favorite winter interest trees. We list this one as zone 6 through 9, but it is from a colder zone in Canada, making us wonder if it couldn't even do further. Maybe some testing needs to be done on this one in colder areas. But we do list this one as zone 6 through zone 9. Excellent winter interest, one of my favorite winter interest plants. And it does sell out for us pretty quickly because it is one of the most distinctly orange. So a lot of people have a Sangukaku or maybe a Benikawa already in their collection. Pair it with this, you're not going to go wrong. It looks awesome near it.
Yeah, amazing winter bark that's so unique and so different. I mean, there's plenty of types out there that are yellows with oranges, but that one is typically a nice pure orange, which really stands out.
Hey, we want to give a shout out to our international community. We really appreciate you guys hopping in the chat on our live chats. If you're not taking advantage of our live chats, guys, definitely hop in there. There's an awesome community building. We premiere all of our videos at 9 a.m. Eastern. Our most popular live chat's always the 10 at 10. There's a huge community in there, oftentimes discussing their plants, discussing what they're interested in, and I just really appreciate all you guys in that live chat. You make it a lot of fun, and you make it interesting for us to hop in there, say how's it going, and catch up with everybody. So I wanted to give you a shout out. And like I was saying, shout out to our international community. We can't ship to you guys, but we greatly appreciate you watching. So let us know in the comment section where you're watching from today.
And always, like Matt said, get involved in the live chat each and every day because there's such a great community there. We love that so many people get in there and discuss plants.
Oh man, we love doing this because we love making Japanese maple content. It's what we're passionate about. So to see other people get passionate about it and get involved, it really is fulfilling to see others, you know, participate in that. And just enjoy what we're putting out there, guys. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share. That goes a long way toward helping us continue to grow this channel. We've been trying to add daily content, and we've been doing that. Daily content 7 days a week. And so we hope you're enjoying, you know, that kind of attention to Japanese maples and gardening. We've had some really fun walkthroughs. We've got some crazy stuff planned. you know, for the walkthroughs that aren't even aired yet, but also ones coming up next spring. So you're definitely going to want to be a part of that. We really appreciate you guys shopping on MrMaple. It's the best way to support our channel. It's because of people, you know, patronizing us at MrMaple that we're able to take time to make Japanese maple related content. We're like in the garden entertainment industry now. We're out here making videos for you every single day. We're still nurserymen though, so we want to sell some plants. So definitely check us out today at 10 a.m. And I think you're going to find some really cool Japanese maples listed. Now these are just 10 of the 20.
Yeah, so if you want to figure out the full 20, make sure you sign up for our weekly email, because that email does go out the same time this video comes out. So you can actually go through and figure out the other 10 we're not talking about. So sometimes there's some really cool plants that we're not talking about. Actually, all the time there's some really cool plants that we're not talking about. So make sure you get signed up for that weekly email so you can figure out the full listing and be prepared to shop as soon as 10 a.m. hits.
Hey guys, we really appreciate you so much. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.